right, this is breaking this hour. Terror threats against the United States reach an all-time high since the terror attack by Hamas terrorists against Israel on October 7th. A warning now from the FBI Director Christopher Wray just a short time ago in a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing.
What I would say that is unique about the environment that we're in right now in my career is that while there may have been times over the years where individual threats could have been higher here or there than where they might be right now, I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time. That's what makes this environment that we're in now so fraught, and why funding our men and women who are working shoulder to shoulder with state and local law enforcement and other partners every day makes it even more important, not less.
So, blinking red lights analogy about 9/11, all the lights were blinking red before 9/11. Apparently, obviously, all of us missed it. Would you say that there's multiple blinking red lights out there?
I see blinking lights everywhere I turn.
Okay, all right. Can't say any better than that.
What's going on, good people? What it do? Need y'all to hit that notification bell. Need y'all to like, share, and subscribe, man. This is breaking news, breaking news. The FBI director says the U.S. threats is at an all-time high, man. Y'all better get prepared.
Blinking lights everywhere he turns for trouble, a heightened level like we have never seen. You have worked inside the White House, formerly with President Trump. You know what should be happening next in all of this. Give us a picture when you get that message from inside the White House.
Well, one of the things I would do, the very first thing I would do, was I'd be creating a whole page in my binder calling the FBI director, calling all of those around him, his comms team, and making sure that you communicate this to the American people. And we just heard Wray do that. But we should be hearing about this from the White House podium, because with a lot of these things, it's see something, say something. And a lone wolf terrorist can cause a lot of destruction. Just underscoring one point, Kerry Kupek, former colleague of mine in the Trump administration who was at DOJ, who worked with Wray hand in hand, he is not prone to dramatic talk. In fact, the opposite. So if he is underscoring something, it is a real threat. So if he is saying this, he's saying something.
Oh, Kevin.
Well, and to Kaylee's point, I think, you know, in the wake of 9/11, it was a wake-up call for all of us to stay vigilant. That it's American security relies on all of us to see something, say something. It's not just the 38,000 men and women that make up the FBI that can disrupt these kind of attacks or potential attacks. And we need the good Samaritans, the citizens of this country, to come forward and talk to law enforcement when it involves a family member or a friend that is going down this.
So why they not coming out really letting the people know what's really going on? Like, I ain't just saying the news. They need to come out and start, I don't know, door to door and letting people know that it's serious out here, man. I'm talking about hospitals, firefighters, police officers. Everybody needs to be on a high alert right now, man, because we don't know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. That's the truth, man.
Road, because after October 7th, to your point, we're likely to see more of those copycat kind of attacks because they inspire people.
Look, I mean, the head of the FBI just told us that he sees red flashing lights about those types of situations all around. When asked, well, do you see one in the vicinity?
And I think what this underscores as well is that the constellation of vulnerability is quite broader than when you look at it in silos of, okay, what's happening on 6th Avenue, what's happening on the street, who might be plotting something in their garage. Meaning specifically that the vulnerability of the southern border and the fact that how closely that ties in with our weaknesses and our open doors is quite real. We know that in the month of October, after the terrorist attacks against Israel, we had 4 Iranians coming across the border. They're considered special interest aliens because the United States considers Iran a state sponsor of terror. We've seen more Chinese illegal immigrants flowing over the southern border this fiscal year alone than we did in the 10 years prior. And the numbers have skyrocketed from countries.
But see, they letting this happen. They opening the doors for these people to come over here. So we can't take the FBI word on nothing because they're the ones that's letting these people come over here. Now we getting backdoored by the FBI because they done opened the border and let all these people come over here. We don't know who is who and what is what. So can we take the FBI word on what's going on when they're the ones that created this? They didn't create all this by opening the borders. They part of the government, so we can't sit up here and say, oh, the government. No, the government has something to do with this, and the FBI is part of the government. So we all need to come together and just be paying attention and stay on our P's and Q's. Everybody need to come up with some type of strategy and pass it along throughout their family because, man, this is getting serious.
Where we have plainly and globally stated we have suspicions about motives for coming here illegally. So when you dovetail that in with this blinking light comments by Director Wray, I can't help but hope that Congress, in lieu as well, or in light of the fact that just 2 months ago they said in their report, clearly there are no laws being enforced at the southern border, that someone will band together to protect us, to cite, at least to acknowledge those vulnerabilities at the southern border that can create and magnify this blinking light scenario.
I don't, God forbid.
And my thing is, why ain't nobody enforcing no laws at the border? Why isn't the FBI at the border making sure that the right people getting over here and the right people stay out of here? Because they let anybody over here, man, and we don't know who is who. And this is the FBI that's coming out saying that the threats on the U.S. is high. So what we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do if y'all letting these people over here but telling us that the threats on the U.S. is high? It doesn't make sense.
You wonder if it's going to take a terrorist attack from someone coming over the border before they actually finally realize that their policy is incredibly dangerous to American national security. I would also remind everybody that this is not the first time the FBI director has testified to these threats. He's been saying this for months now, and I would encourage the FBI director to repurpose the people that are going to PTA meetings and going to Catholic church meetings and actually maybe repurpose those agents to look at American national security. Finally, we've had at least 74 attacks against American troops, plus ballistic missiles shot at U.S. Navy ships over the weekend. The attacks against the American homeland and against our troops overseas are not something that are to be talked about in the future. They are happening now.
So link in the description below to this article that just came